What is up, everybody? Chris Fluke here, Chris Fluke Podcast, episode number 104. It's May 13th, 2022, and we're 1 month away from our youth fitness camps from kicking off here at Cornerstone Fitness. Now, these camps, we're going to have a camp titled Speed Agility Fitness. We're going to have a camp specifically for girls. Then we're going to have a camp called Intro to Strength and Conditioning. And today, we're going to be talking about 10 ways to boost athleticism in kids. All right? And a lot of what we do in these camps are kind of inspired by this list here, right? Now, if you go, the things that we're going to talk about here, if you go to any playground in the country, I imagine you're going to see all of these things. You're going to see kids jumping off of things. You're going to see kids jumping onto things. You're going to see kids on the ground. You're going to see kids crawling under things. You're going to see running, jumping, sprinting, skipping, playing tag, all of that stuff. And you know what else you're going to see? Big smiles on that face, right? You're going to see kids having fun. You might see some crying, right? You might see a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, it's kids working out their problems. It's kids working together, having fun, being physically active, being outside, being off of that technology, and getting after a little bit of physical activity. Now, as we get into this list here, right, like I said, we have 10 things. We're going to be looking at taking the playground into our training here for the most part, right? So what do we do? Number one, we jump. All right, 10 ways to boost athleticism in kids. The first way we're going to do is we're going to jump. We're going to jump in all kinds of directions. Side jumps, forward jumps, backwards jumps, diagonal jumps, one-legged jumps. One-leg jumps, land on single leg jump, and then you land on that same leg, right? Or you have some bounding where you go from one leg to the other leg, all right? Things like skipping almost fall into this, right? As you're kind of getting into that rhythm, doing an explosive maneuver and then coming down. So what we're teaching here is we're teaching landing mechanics. So how to land properly. A lot of injuries happen when we decelerate our body. So in order to kind of fight that fight, right, we have to learn how to land efficiently. We have to learn how to accelerate efficiently. And then we have to learn how to accelerate, decelerate, and then re-accelerate again, right? That's the whole point of kind of how fast can you stop and then re-accelerate, right? Changing direction in quick and efficient manners is going to be what separates you from the competition. Me and you could have the same speed, right? But if I could decelerate and accelerate faster than you, I'm going to beat you in that race when we go down and back, like how they do it on the playground. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I'm going to race through that pole and back. Whoever could decelerate and re-accelerate is probably going to win that race if speed is equal, right? That's number one. Speaking of speed, we're going to be sprinting, right? Every component of youth athletic development needs to have a sprint component. And you can have some fun with this, right? Relay races have been around forever. Guess what? Kids love them. Kids get into it. Kids compete. Kids get fired up. Nobody wants to let the team down. They hold each other accountable, and they work hard, right? That's the whole name of the game. If you just said, hey, run as fast as you can down and back and have a kid going by himself, you're probably not going to get the same effort as if you get a relay going on, all right? You could play a game like like chase, right? You get one person, put them 2 yards in front of the other. The person being chased has to fly out of there, and then the person chasing really's got to work hard to make up that lost ground and try to catch them, right? A great way to get kids faster is either chase them, to be chased, to chase or be chased, right? That's pretty much it. So you have the kid chase somebody or you have the kid being chased by somebody if you want to improve overall running mechanics and speed. It's also amazing when you see a kid, when you're playing a game like this, you'll find out right away about their natural running gait. And young kids seem to have a pretty good gait, right? Somehow it gets lost as the years progress. But it's a great way, it's a great tool to have a little bit of fun in the beginning. You get everybody warmed up, you play a few different styles of chase, some different styles of a tag type of game, right? And then you just let them have at it. Next thing, we're going basic calisthenics, right? Can the kids skip? So we already talked about that a little bit with the jumping portion, but now we're just kind of doing some warm-ups. Now we're skipping forward, we're skipping backwards, we're skipping sideways. Can you shuffle this way? Can you shuffle that way? Can you do a jumping jack? Can you do like mountain climbers? Can you do a bear crawl? Can you do, back in the day of youth wrestling, we used to call them squat thrusts, right? It's like a burpee, except there's no push-up and no jump, right? So your hands go down, jump your feet back, jump your feet forward, stand up, all right? That's the drill. Can you do that? Basic calisthenics, man. You don't have to put them into the ground with this stuff, right? It's going to get them out of breath. It's going to get their bodies warm. Just introduce it, teach it a little bit, make sure they're doing it safely, and let them go to work. Our next part of this is going to be almost like gymnastic-inspired maneuvers, right? Can they Grab a bar and hold their chin above the bar for time. Can they get some dipping bars and just hold themselves up, right? For a period of time. Can they do a forward roll? Can they do a cartwheel? Can they do a backwards roll? Can they do a roll across the shoulder blades? All of this stuff, right? If you want to improve body control, you know, they talk about the ABCs of youth training, right? Agility, balance, coordination. When you do these gymnastic type maneuvers, that is what shows up. You're going to find out real quick who's got the balance, who's got the coordination, all right? If just whether or not that they could complete that role. And if not, we got some work to do. Next part, strength. Relative strength for these young kids is going to be super important, right? Like we just talked about the gymnastic maneuvers. You see the kids that can do forward rolls, their relative strength is good. And relative strength is their strength relative to their body weight, right? So it's those body weight type exercises, single leg squats, push-ups, chin-ups. Are you able to perform that, right? The single leg squat, it's almost like a modified version of, say, a pistol squat, all right? Do you have the body strength to do that? If so, great. Now we're going to try to do some monkey bars. We're going to try to climb a rope. We're going to go tug of war a little bit here where you're pulling, all right? We're going to do some sled pushes, all right? We're going to pick up medicine balls. We're going to pick up kettlebells. We're going to carry weights for distance. We're going to throw balls, all right? Stuff like that. Relative strength, and then also use some implements. You know, you got the ropes. Manipulate some ropes with rope waves. Send them in different directions, right? We're talking about coordination, balance, and all that stuff. It shows up. Strength training is stability, right? And stability, improving stability is improving your strength. So we got to keep that in mind. Strength training by itself is not just, you know, deadlifts, squats, and presses. There's a time for that. But right now with these young kids, we got to make sure they're stable, and we have to make sure that they're able to physically move their own bodies around. The next thing we're looking at, this is a good one, pickup games. Let the kids go to the park. If you want to boost athleticism in children, they have to play some games, and they have to remove the shackles of parents and let the kids go and have a little bit of fun. Let them sort out the rules. Let them sort out whether or not it's a foul or a penalty. Let them sort out the score, and let them sort out the plays, strategy, all of that stuff, man. Let them have fun. Take the shackles off, like I said. Adult supervision, get out of the way, and let the kids be kids. Next thing that's a great thing, so we have pickup games, which are sports. Our next little segment here is going to be playing one sport all year round. We have to get out of that habit, that newly found creation of year-round sports. I mean, you look at professional sports, they take time off. The pros don't even play all year round. Right now we have baseball season going on. With baseball, you have spring baseball, you have summer baseball, you have fall baseball, you have winter workouts. When is your break? When is your arm going to get a break? I have kids coming in here, they're in middle school, complaining about arm soreness. Why is your arm sore? I had to throw a bunch of pitches in a game. Why did you have to throw a bunch of pitches? Because the other two kids' arms hurt, so they couldn't pitch. And I'm like, 3 kids on this team all have sore arms, and you guys are like 13. What the heck is going on here? In addition to that, that's club baseball. They had their normal town team games going on too, where that same kid might have to go play center field, right, and throw the ball in from the outfield, or play catcher where he's whipping all those little throws back to the pitcher's mound in between after pitches, and then chucking one down to second or chucking one down to third. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff, man, it just wears into you, man. It's all wear and tear. So stop playing sports all year round. Next thing, in lieu of those sports, we already talked about playing pickup games, but then there's that non-sport competitive activity. You know, we talked about this earlier, like things like tag, things that you do at the playground. All right? You're playing tag, right? You change the rules a little bit. You play a different style. You're out there playing things like, kids used to play like capture the flag. Kids are, you know, going out there playing a game like who could, you know, run up the stairs the fastest. Who could climb a tree. Things of that nature, right? So non-sport games, tag is probably the best one when we're talking about ABCs, right? Agility, balance, and coordination. Now this next one's a big one. This is why I like having the ability to get outside in the summer times for our camps. Kids spend way too much time on their screen. The average kid looks at a phone. The average person looks at their phone over 400 times a day. How about that, man? That is absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous. And what's going on with this screen time stuff is that it's starting to mess with brains, I think. You know, if you're on a social media site, you're going to start looking at other people and comparing your world to their world. When really their world, like I talked about previously, is just kind of a persona, right? What you're seeing there is not their authentic self. It's an inauthentic thing that they are putting online for whatever motivation it is. It's you're putting the focus on external approval as opposed to internal approval. You're doing things for other people to see rather than doing things that you want to do. In addition to that, you know, that's like a self-esteem, self-efficacy type of thing, right? In addition to that, you got just kids just being totally lazy and not doing stuff because of screen time, right? There's a lot of options out there. You got a lot of games, all right? There's a lot of great shows on Netflix that you could be watching. This whole thing about binge watching became a thing. And I'm thinking to myself, who the hell does that all the time, right? I would like to. There's a lot of great shows, like I just said. But man, sitting around all day, how do you feel good about yourself when you do that? How do you feel good about sitting around for 9 hours in a day on a couch, eating things, vegging out? I mean, sometimes I feel like I need to have 2 lives to do all the things I want to do. So I cannot see myself spending that amount of time doing nothing, all right? So we gotta reduce that. I think it only compounds over time. You have to limit your kids' screen time, all right? You gotta limit it before bed. You gotta limit it, you know, when they're home from school. You gotta just limit it, period, all right? Limit the screen time, get them outside more. Show them that life can be fun. Show them that this FOMO thing where you gotta stay up with the news and what your friends are up to and all this other crap, it's kind of a crock of you know what, all right? Lastly, if you want to boost athleticism in kids, you have to find ways to have fun with whatever you're doing. Whether you're doing drills, it's a sport practice, it's lifting weights, they gotta have fun. We're talking about you want to get them to run fast, like I said earlier, playing chase, that's fun. Relays are fun, okay? That's where you get great effort, is when they're having fun and they take a little bit of ownership with it. Like I said, next month, June 13, our camps start here, all right? We have a camp for speed, agility, and fitness. We have a camp for girls only to boost athleticism and introduce training. And lastly, we have intro to strength and conditioning for everybody. All right. Hope you guys like this podcast. Talk to you all soon. We're on YouTube, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple. Might be missing one. Who knows? Have a great day, everybody. Peace.